Regular meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have 3 new members of Senior Connection, and we need to swear you in today. And we'll start with Carolyn. Carolyn is our student representative. So Carolyn, if you would stand and raise your right hand. I, Carolyn Carpenter.
I, Carolyn Carpenter.
Do solemnly affirm.
Do solemnly affirm.
I will faithfully and honestly perform the duties.
I will faithfully and honestly perform the duties
Of Council on Aging Commission Student Representative.
of Council on Aging Student Representative
By communicating with student council members.
by communicating with student council members,
Seeking feedback from other students.
seeking feedback from other students,
And providing information and viewpoints to the Council on Aging Commission on city issues affecting young people.
and providing
Information
and viewpoints
to the
to
Council
the Council on Aging
Commission
Commission
and the city
on
city issues affecting.
issues affecting young people.
And I put way too much in there. Thank you. And I'll just need you to sign that. And Ginger. It's a minute. I, Ginger Kayla.
I, Ginger Comer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Alaska,
the Constitution of the State of Alaska,
and the laws and ordinances of the city,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Kentucky.
and that I will honestly,
That I will honestly,
faithfully, and impartially
faithfully, and impartially
discharge my duties of Council on Aging Commissioner
discharge my duties as Council on Aging Commission member
of the city of Kenai, Alaska,
of the city of Kenai,
to the
Alaska,
best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you. And so, can I do this by Patricia's? Patricia Sombrero. I, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Alaska,
the Constitution of the State of Alaska,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Kenai,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Kenai.
and that I will honestly,
And I will honestly,
faithfully, and impartially discharge my duties
discharge my duties
of Council on Aging Commission
of Council on Aging Commission
of the city of Kenai, Alaska,
of the city of Kenai, Alaska,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
You can sign that and give that back to me.
Already.
This is you. This is you.
Who's at the date that you're gonna do that? Oh, okay.
Chair Craig. Sadler. Modig. Present. Kuntzman. Kahona.
Here.
Segura.
Present.
Student Representative Karpik.
Present.
4 or more members. You have a quorum. And I guess any Zoom members here? No.
Bennett. For a second.
I think
Any revisions to the agenda? There are no objections to the approving of the agenda as presented. Okay, let it out approved. Schedule public. Any members from the public? Members? Move on. I have a motion to approve the February 12th, 2026 minutes. There a second?
second.
Are there any revisions to the minute? No objections? Then these minutes are approved. May I have a motion to recommend approval of the 2025 work plan annual report?
You're doing.
Is there a second?
Just gets it out on the table for discussion.
I get it, somebody.
Is there a second?
I think
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, call for staff report.
So in your packet, it's page number 5 in your packet. You want to look? I will see. Well, I have that back here. The summary of report, Rachel and Gina worked on that before Rachel left, and Gina couldn't be here today. And so I took their summary, I hope, to the best of my ability.
Good job.
Okay. And did the summary of the work plan. And if you look down at the bottom, it just highlights the identify opportunities for intergenerational, reviewed emergency plan for the Kenai Senior Center, and identified programs and activities for health and wellness. And then on the next page, they identified accomplishments and identifying opportunities for intergenerational. Remember, Pitt and Bill, was Bill with that one? That they had mailed out quite a bit of things and then received some responses. Number 2 was the review the emergency operation plan. That will be finished today. And then number 3, identify programs and activities for health and wellness. This is a big work plan number. This was a really big one. And it's going to be identified coming up for the continuation. Barbara and Gina worked on that last year. They're in the process. And last month they decided to again put that back on the work plan for this next year to finish. And so this, for those of you who are new, we develop a work plan typically by the first part of the year. And we had some weather issues and people issues this year. So we're now getting our work plan summation done for the council. And then we're also have a new work plan and things that the council on aging will be working on throughout 2026. And that'll come up next.
Call for discussion.
second.
You have a comment?
Oh, yes, I would just, I'm glad you clarified that because our overall goal was to, for the previous year, 25, was to facilitate healthy aging, right? And so in addition to, and that identifying was part of, under that goal, but then we need to expand further And, I had already listed some things that we need to look at, but maybe this is not the time to talk about for 26.
Right.
Yeah, right. So, are we doing that a little later?
We are.
Okay,
And I would think that once you get back with Tina in your group,
right,
then it will be expanded, it will come back to us
okay,
for that.
okay.
Because I know she mentioned the booklet, when we were, she and I done.
The booklet is really, the main thing that needs to be finished.
But we do have now goals and strategies to move forward, which I think is awesome. Any other comments? Okay, for you people, you got this? You show the. I have it all, it's pretty important. Okay, so we need to call for a vote on the main motion. Which is recommend approval of the 2025 work plan annual report. Is there a motion? To accept it?
Say that again.
Pardon?
Say that again.
To recommend approval of the 2025 work plan annual report.
Okay, our motion.
Okay. Is that a second?
That, and that, we reviewed all of that last meeting, but I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. The second. Any more discussion?
We have another motion? You need another motion to approve it?
We're gonna take 5 minutes. So what we need to do is approve the meeting so that we can move forward.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read this, develop opportunities for intergenerational programs. This is number 1, junior, senior prom. Coach junior, senior high school students to coordinate the senior participants for senior prom. 2, reaching program at kindergarten level, with seniors to visit kindergarten class at Mountain View to read once a month. And 3, college level students to interact during the lunch hour with seniors. And this is to engage our younger generation to come in and join us, so we have the intergenerational program. So where we at, we need to approve that again, Leila.
Right.
Do we have it on the floor?
After any discussion and amendments, call for vote on the main motion. Or if unanimous consent is requested, ask if there are any objections.
Okay, so we've just asked for objective C, correct? Object- Why is that? There are two objectives. Okay. Any discussion on objective 1? Before we
What do you
vote?
mean the senior prom?
Pardon?
Is that discussion on objective 1 is
Right.
yeah.
Anybody want to give any input before we vote on that? You've got it on the floor. If not, is there a motion?
I would say, we accept objective 1 for 2026. Okay, we can, I think it's one day. Then we can.
Any more discussion on it? Or we vote? If not, all those in favor of objective one, say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Okay. And then let's go to objective number 2. Identify programs and activities for health and wellness. Senior Health and Fitness Day, May 27th, get a mailing list sent out and invites and have a survey, radio talking about wellness programs that we have currently and other activities that are available. 3 times a year, maybe once a month, have available packets for Medicaid, Medicare, adult protective assistance, senior benefits, and finish the booklet that was started in 2025 and disperse among the communities. Any comments or is there a motion?
motion to approve it.
Okay, for a second.
A second.
Where is this?
Objective number 2.
2, okay. And who was it?
Any other discussion? If not, is there a approval? All those in favor of objective 2?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, thank you. For that.
I have a question about objective 1. It was motion by Modig and was it seconded by anybody?
Ginger.
Ginger?
I'm
Okay,
sorry, Ginger, you second the decision, yes.
thank you.
Recommend approval for the emergency operation plan and continuation of the operation plan for the student and senior center. I have a motion to recommend approval for the emergency operation plan and continuity of operational plans for the Kenai Senior Center.
Well, what happened to new business?
This is new business.
Okay, because
Then
approval of 2026 work plan.
That's what we just did.
Okay. What happened with the approval of the 2025 work plan?
Yeah.
Annual,
we did that.
We did that.
okay,
So the first one of them after the other.
okay, so was that Segura? And then second was, okay.
We have a motion to recommend approval of the emergency operation plan.
Okay. I believe that's second one.
Is there a second?
I didn't get the fresh one. Who I seconded?
Ginger
Ginger, okay.
and Carolyn seconded.
Be happy to talk about this.
Yes, please.
Okay, so last month, we had a work session and a big television in here, huge television in here. And we had, Katmai. Mr. Nelson. Thank you, Dan Nelson, with the borough.
I didn't know what you were
Thank
doing.
you. We had, by the way, Ginger, Carolyn, Patty. This is Vice Mayor Aston, and she's our liaison.
I
To the city.
absolutely knew that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are really, we're just juggling all over the place today. So, anyway, we did, Dan Nelson with, Catline Services came in and, gave us a presentation. Last year, during the fiscal year 25, we received a grant from the state of Alaska. Red applied for this grant and got it. The Older Persons Act through the federal government says that we have to have a site-specific emergency operations plan for the senior center, for anybody receiving Older Americans Act money. And so the state came through and offered grants to help people develop this. And Red wrote the grant and received $44,000. She also, we got Shelf Stable food for our home delivered meal clients in the event we have an emergency. There's water that was available. We also, she also got some things for the senior center for emergency preparedness. And a big chunk of this grant went to prepare this emergency operation plan. And we've been working on it. One of the goals that Council on Aging Commission had last year was that they would review this plan. And so it was finished in December. We were able to finally come up with a March date that the commission could review it. We all sat and listened to it. We've had it in our packet about 4 times. So this is the final version of it, and gave us a nice presentation of what would happen in the event of an emergency, and what is the continued operation plan for the senior center in the event this happened. And I found out this morning at department head meeting that we are the only department that has this COOP, that has a continued operation, continuity of operation plan. But that is going to be something that, the city has a citywide emergency operations plan. This grant enabled us to even carry it further and get a continuity of operations plan. So what I'm asking you folks is that now that you've seen it, hopefully read it, we will, yes, it's pretty detailed. I have a resolution going before council next week that will recommend that we adopt this be adopted into the City of Kenai Emergency Operation Plan as an addendum to that emergency operation plan. So that's why I'm bringing it to you for your approval, so that I can say Council on Aging Commission recommended we bring this forward.
Do you need that approval today?
We do.
Okay, there's a discussion on this emergency plan.
I'm just wondering, I know I read it, I did scan through it last month, but I'm wondering, is there anything in that plan that includes educating the senior population about the contents of that plan and what role they might have to assume in the case of a disaster, different kinds of disasters?
Can I answer that? So in the event of a disaster, there are several places people would go. Obviously, the fire department and police department are going to be the most crucial for our town. And when it comes to people here at the center, one of us would be the person in charge at that point. If I was here, it would be me. If Red was here, it would be, and the plan talks about that. It also talks about how other agencies would be involved, what we would do. Eventually, it's not discussed in this, but the idea would be the senior center is the one with all the food, right? So if our power goes out and everything else, it'd be nice to be able to cook the food and all. So I think that what our plan would be, once it's adopted into the city plan, that we would give, I'm not sure that we would send a huge packet like this out,
It would be.
but it is something that we can put on the senior center webpage for the city of Kenai, that we can attach it there and say, if you'd like to know what the city has planned for seniors in the event of an emergency, or the continued operation for that, we would do that. And so we will definitely get the word out for information.
Recommend you guys for putting this together.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah, looks like
So also it also brought us that we are working on an emergency operation plan for Vintage Point as well.
That's what my question was, is if the Vintage Point involved with that.
Any other comments or questions for Kathy? Your vote, by a motion that we approve this.
I motion to approve it.
Okay.
Discussion.
Rich, I think there's already a motion on the floor. Before you talked about it, right?
Just ask you about it. Then you think about it.
All in favor of emergency operation plan for the senior center.
Yes, please. Yeah.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Any objection? Okay, pass the unanimously. Good. Report from the director.
First of all, welcome to our new members. We're excited about them. Today, we might seem a little discombobulated, and I apologize for that. It was this was to be a lay down. The objectives 1 and 2 would be a lay down. Part of that is it gets really confusing to add the new ones into a packet that already has an old one in it. And if you're not understanding, the second thing was they weren't quite ready yet when the packet was due. So, and it should have gone out today with that, and I apologize for the lateness on it. March was quite the month. And March for Meals, it is looking like we will have the second highest March for Meals we've ever had. 2 years ago was the highest, right under 80,000. We are almost 75,000 at this point, which is phenomenal. Wonderful, wonderful appreciation to the community and people who work so hard for that. It also shows that our community is behind us. And that's a big rubber stamp there. That's a big stamp of approval. And that seniors aren't forgotten. You know, that so many times Boys and Girls Club, which is so valid, but that, that our community hasn't forgotten our seniors. And I'm thrilled about that. Looking into April, we do have a new driver. We are fully staffed for the first time in a long time, since I believe November. And we have a new driver. His name is also Mark. We now have 2 Marks, Mark Hodges, and you'll get to know him. He's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Then we are now working on the continuation grant for the state of Alaska, which is last year we got the RFP and an increase. And this is 1 of 2 years that we'll just do a continuation grant. It's a non-competitive one. So Red and I and Jennifer at City Hall are all 3 working on that. The borough, we're working on the borough one. The big one is a Medicaid recertification, which is done every 3 years. And don't you miss that? Yes. So it's done every 3 years, and that one is due at the end of May. So been working on that for about 6 months in various things. So it's a lot, and excited about it. It's exciting. Our greenhouse is going. We're given another donation from Bill Osborne's family at the first of the year, and Steve Latz has flowers already. We're going to be able to grow much of our flowers that we plant at the senior center will be ones that are grown right in our greenhouse. Right now, they're grown at the other end of the dining room, so under the lamps and things. So, thinking we have a busy couple of months coming up. We have prom breakfast this weekend. Senior Connection is sponsoring that. And I think that is it. I really appreciate all of the work. I know it seems like we've been throwing this here and there, but the emergency operation plan, we're finally getting it to come to fruition. And I thank you so much for the support. Even just sitting and listening and watching to a presentation. You know, it was, I thought it was pretty interesting actually last month. So I think that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have questions for me.
Any questions for Kathy?
Is there any news on the security cameras?
There is news on the security cameras. They have the city updated its camera policy, and the city manager has approved policy for the senior center. It is in my budget, and as long as it continues through and passes the budget, we will have security cameras at the senior center there'll be 9 of them totally. They won't be monitored. They won't be, no one's gonna be sitting in a little room watching all 9 of them, but it is that if we do have an incident, and we've had a couple with, people coming in off the street and things. So it is a safety measure. We will be, if this, goes through and once the cameras are in place, we will be posting signs to let people know that the building is being recorded. It's, I think it's a good step. So, yeah.
Any other questions for Kathy? If not, I would like to add kudos to Kathy and her staff for all the hard work that she does. It's one thing to do a fundraiser in March, but another thing to get ready for budget and write grants all during the same time. And you need to be congratulated. So does your staff, because your staff supports you while you're writing. Just kind of a side note, when I was outside, I visited a senior center, and it happened to be a senior center that was under the auspice of the city of Mustang, Oklahoma. And it was right in the town building, the city building. And we were there early in the morning, and the gal behind the desk told me it started at 7 a.m. There were probably, I bet you 15 people there that were there playing cards already in the morning, because we were there at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it was a happening place, and they served lunch that you had to call to make an appointment or reservation. It was $3 a meal. I'm going, you gotta be kidding me. But it was fun to see a happening place like that. And I just think, and the building, it was a nice building, but it does not compare to this here. We're very fortunate that the city supports us. With that.
Thank you, Rachel. So our last meeting was March 18th. Actually, we've had one more since then, but we accepted a donation from the Kenai Library for the Kenai Library, and we authorized the board, our city manager, to enter into an agreement to get the Wildwood Drive completely repaved and restored. So that will be really nice. We also authorized the purchase of what they call permitting software. Instead of when someone puts in for a permit, it goes by paper around to all the departments. It'll be scanned in and handled electronically, so they can work simultaneously on it instead of waiting for each, and hopefully it'll improve the turnaround on permitting. And then in addition, along with that will be like renewal for business licenses and that kind of thing. So it should streamline a bunch of stuff within the city. Other than that, Mayor Nagstead appointed Ginger Keona and Patricia Segura to the Council on Aging. Well, I'm happy to see you both here. Other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot going on, just renewal of a couple of licenses, and I'm open for questions.
Questions?
Oh, next month then.
Okay. The other really cool thing is we recognize the Kenai Central High School Nordic ski team had a 4.0. They won an academic award, and I think the girls placed. I think they were like third, and they had like a 3.87 average. And then at the last meeting, our local Cole, I can't remember his last name, won the spelling bee and will be representing Alaska in Washington. And we also had a homeschool student that won. He went to a CTE conference and he won in 2 divisions in welding, and he'll be representing the state of Alaska in Oklahoma this summer. So we've got some phenomenal young people coming up. Yeah. And I think that's all I got.
Mary, you're the only other person here. Do you have any comments for me? didn't have any remote attendance. So our next meeting will be May 14th. Is there anyone that unable to attend?
I'm not sure if I'll be.
Can I ask a question? On May 14th, I don't have anything on the agenda. Would you be interested in having a work session? We can talk about our objectives for goals 1 and 2 for the year. Are you open to that?
That would be on May 14th.
On May 14th, we'll just, instead of a meeting, we'll have a work session. Okay. You're okay with that?
Comments or questions from individual council members?
I have one more thing I thought. So there's considerable discussion going on about what to do with the Challenger Center, being the Challenger Center closed. And two of the proposals right now is to put either the police department in there or the fire department in there. And we're talking millions of dollars either way, or even both. And I've heard some opposition about putting the fire department in there where you have a multi-purpose building and with a bunch of students, and we'll also have the high school. So if you have any strong opinions about that, please reach out.
Close to the high school.
Because in order for them to put the fire department or the police department there, they probably have to put in another light. They'd have to move a bunch of approaches and do some traffic pattern changes. And we also got approached at the last meeting. A man from Connections Homeschool would like to move the whole Connections Homeschool into the Challenger Center. They serve about 1,500 students here on the peninsula. So there's another option. And the Beacon building also is open. So if you have opinions, please reach out so we can make it known.
Vice Mayor, are they looking at the beginning of another option?
Not at this time, and it's empty. Yeah. And then the other option that the engineers presented was completely revamping the whole fire and police department now. And possibly moving some out, but completely redoing a bunch of stuff there, or moving one out and leaving the other there. Or building a whole new building, which is about $40 million.
I have something to say. So, I go to school there, obviously, and I see every single day people running past the stop signs without stopping, and speeding, going really fast. And there's students who walk home from school and they're on the sidewalks, and there's people going past them at like 35 miles an hour, and that's not the speed limit. And then they don't stop at the stop signs, and there's people trying to pass. So a police station might possibly
Not be a bad idea.
not be a bad idea.
The only. It wouldn't be.
Would it traffic light were you talking about?
Yeah, the fire department
Just
frankly
because they have-
scares the heck out of me.
They're moving into the highway.
Around the high school, like
Yeah.
Yes, I heard.
And I think
part
they're
other
making-
people talking about
They're
it.
talking like
It's-
$18 million
yes.
to put in all of the bays for the fire department and everything. I can just see an alarm go off and all the fire departments trying to get out and kids are running around. I just think it's a recipe for disaster.
Especially in a case of an emergency, and I don't think that's the way.
But I live on Rogers, which is, and I see them run that four-way stop all the time. And I think the police would be great.
And there's
Police, but not
there's-
fire department. I think the police department would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the police department.
Would they split the two up?
Yeah, then they would leave the fire department where it's at. But that building, the fire department, fire police department now is like 56 years old, and there's a lot of asbestos, and they're talking about they'd have to, they want to, add another bay, and they want to add another tower for drying hoses and that kind of stuff, so. I think that project would be, it was something like 17 million, something like that. But to build a new place, they're quoting an $800 per square foot to build it. Crazy. Well, especially when I think we've got a couple of pretty viable buildings.
Yeah. I think that county is in a good place to be. I don't know about that, but if you fire department. You know, what all comes down to, you know, money and.
So Carolyn, I'm gonna put you on the spot. But would you be open to giving us a temporary report from the school and what's going on at school during commission meeting? Would you be open to that?
Sure.
Okay.
Just about the students.
Do you know Mr. Bowling?
Extracurricular.
Josh.
Josh, yeah.
Yes.
It's up to him because he gives us a report every,
Okay.
and it's usually sports events.
Okay.
Yeah, be great to, we're trying to get more intergenerational things, and so it's nice, I always enjoy hearing Mr. Bowman give the report to council about what's going on at school, so if you're open to that, it would be nice to hear what's happening.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then for the prom that you were talking about, when were you thinking of doing that? Like next school season? Okay, because we have 2 dances, well, we have 3 dances actually, but one is really small. We have homecoming at the beginning of the year and then prom at the end of the year, so it would have to be somewhere that's not conflicting.
We're glad to have you on board.
You like to enter.
That would be
One of the things that I'm concerned about here is developing opportunities for intergenerational programs. When I'm talking about intergenerational programs, I mean a program that's going to get you some relationship with the kid and the senior are getting fit from it. And all I can see personally from what you've got here is a superficial level. One a junior senior prom, that's a one-time thing. How is that going to help the kid her age, who's probably scared to death of growing older because look at how we're crumpling, dumping around here, crippling around and so forth. That's what looks to her like an enemy. And that's not exactly what's going on. On the reverse, you get kids in here and there's a lot of seniors. When I worked at the senior center in McKiskey, I tried to get seniors to go to North Star School once a week. The senior center said they would take us over there and sit down with the kid and read with him. You take a kindergarten kid and you go once a month and read with him, so what? My experience has been, I did this over at North Star. I helped the little kid with his math. And he was one of these kids that he sat there and did what you wanted. He didn't say much of anything. And I thought, I'm wasting my time with this kid. I'm getting nowhere. About 3 months later, I saw him over there in Soldotna at something the Lions Club was at. He's, hey, I know you. You helped me with my math. And boy, did you help me with my math. Thank you. But I did not think a thing was setting in here, but that was a week after week after week thing, not something once a month. I really think you ought to find someone who's worked with kids, and I realize what I'm saying, and I think these need to be something more than superficial things. And there are kids over at that high school that I am sure know how to use a computer backward, forward, upside down, and crooked. And they need to. I would love to have a program where I had a high school kid that was interested in finding out a little bit about me interested in finding out about him, and he'd come and show me how to use this doggone computer that is the most useless piece of junk I have in my apartment right now. So I think this needs to have something a little bit more than we'll have college kids come in and eat lunch, and here you have a bunch of kids at home time. There's no relationships being built or anything, and there isn't any relationships being built, I think is worthless.
Can I speak to that?
Patty,
I think because I've worked, but when I think about, I've never worked with little ones. But I worked for 72 to, I don't know, 2010 with high schoolers on a weekly basis and more. They don't just open up. You start a relationship and then they see you here and then we have to build it. So I agree with you in some and then in part, but like for like a dance, to pull somebody in where they see a familiar face and then you show up at high school or they show up here and it's like, and then it's more and more and more, but you can't just go, hey, I want to have a friendship with you, because it doesn't happen today. It just doesn't.
well, and I think the start, like you said, Patty, I think start and you'll move toward that end, but also at the next meeting, we have a work session, so that would be a good time to bring that up and talk about that.
You come, please.
Well, another thing, I just think this senior prom thing, having it in the spring with all the rest of the proms is not a good idea. Having it in fall with homecoming is not a good idea. What about Valentine's Day or Super Bowl?
Yes, something that can pull it together. Yes, that's in the work sessions. But yeah,
Your help was out there at the door looking in, Gabby.
Any other comment? Thank you for your comment.
With the computer thing, we have a CAD CAM class at the high school and they're really good with computers and technology. So maybe something could happen there. Maybe they could come in a few times. Like,
or you can have a meet and greet and then it kind of goes from there, something that, hey, you can, the teacher says, okay, you are going over to the senior center and then have a bunch of seniors like that want help. And then that's the meet and greet. And then the relationship
And you have to
starts.
make sure that the person who comes over understands that this person is dumber than
The rocks. But I know, me too. I'm like, my kids can
Any other,
come in and do things like everybody do that.
if there's no other business and no further business before this body, we're now adjourned. But thank you, everybody, for your input.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Are you receiving relationship? Want. And that's how it is. I'm gonna start. Yeah.